I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is Darren Blasutti, President and CEO of America's Gold and Silver. We're here at the Precious Metals Summit. Your company just had big news. You announced a 60-40 joint venture with Eric Sprott for the Galena Complex. Can you briefly share the highlights for investors?
Sure. Thanks, Charlotte. Basically, we have a mine that has almost 80 million ounces of silver in reserve resources, and unfortunately is unprofitable at today's prices. So the real challenge is that we know that the mine can discover a lot more ounces, and we know it can produce a lot more ounces. But as a public company, you're very constrained on what the current silver price is and how much you would invest on the current silver price. So we couldn't really exploit the Galena complex like we want, because at $15 silver, where it's been for quite a period of time, it's been very difficult to make capital decisions into the mine. And so basically since 2012, when we acquired the mine, we have spent very little money upgrading the mine equipment, upgrading the infrastructure, and really developing into enough stopes to make it very profitable. So Eric doesn't come with that constraint. He has a real belief in silver price is going to go up. He's looking for leverage to silver. So, ultimately for $20 million, he fixes, we get new mine equipment, we fix a hoist, which is an infrastructure issue, and we also get to develop into a lot of these ounces, which we couldn't develop before. So that will make turn the mine from being unprofitable to profitable. And then beyond that, we think there's a great story to take that 80 million ounces that are in the ground and more than double that size of the mine. As far as reserves and resources. So Eric was the natural guy to do it because he's looking for leverage and he believes in higher prices, whereas we have the operating team to kind of be able to exploit it. So.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to ask about why now. It sounds like it's maybe the combination of Eric Sprott and that rising silver price environment.
Yeah, and why now is the mine up to 2015 was producing at a pretty low price, and then as we stopped putting capital in it to build our mine in Mexico and now our Relief Canyon mine in Nevada, we've put all of our capital to those assets. And so it would be at least 2 or 3 years before we get around to doing anything here. And so Eric basically expedites that. And if we get, if we believe Eric, or if we get lucky with silver price, this thing could be very exciting. And so today, as you know, it wasn't too long ago last week that silver was well over $19. And so people probably would have criticized me for doing this 2 weeks ago. Now they'll probably say it's a good deal. If it goes to $16, it'll be a great deal. So, but ultimately, we think we can, double the production of this mine, more than double the production of this mine, just on its current reserves with Eric's money. And then I think, as I said, we think we can double the size of the mine entirely with some exploration, and that's where Eric's very keen.
Eric Sprott always attracts a lot of attention. I'm sure you're getting lots of questions about him. He's your biggest shareholder and now your partner here. What do you think's attracted him to the company?
Well, I think, we've known Eric since our days at Barrick, and so Eric has always had a very positive view of gold prices. And what I think he's done recently that he hadn't always done before is he's starting to invest more in management teams that he think can actually deliver the upside. Because it's one thing to get prices, and it's another thing to actually deliver the production and the exploration growth and all that stuff. And so I think he feels comfortable with our management team. He's been around us for 6 or 7 years. He knows that we do what we say we do. And so it's been a great relationship with him because, when there's nobody who will invest in you in a down market, it's great to have guys like Eric and Pierre Lassonde in your story because, they understand the long-term value of some of these things where I think other people are quarter to quarter. Well, they take longer-term views. And so, I just think he feels comfortable with management, and he loves the leverage and upside to a silver company itself, as opposed to, owning 8% of the shares is one thing, but now he owns 32 million ounces of silver as a result of this deal, and that's where he wants to be, I think. So,
do you have any thoughts on where the silver price may be going? We've heard so many different types of things, I think, over the last month as it's been rising.
Yeah, and the first thing I'd say is I get paid as the president and CEO of the company to not make prognostications on silver price, because ultimately, if you looked at last year, we used $14.50 in 2019. That was our silver price estimate. This year, we may use $16. So we're not really using aggressive pricing in order to justify our mining or our acquisitions or our development. When I was asked this question earlier in the year, through the Northern Miner, and I think even with Nicole from INN, my view was we're interested. We think gold is going to move, but we think it takes longer for silver to move. And so, we said kind of end of the year, we were hopeful that prices could move up towards $17.50 to $18. So we've gotten quicker than we had hoped. Ultimately, though, I think the price of silver. I think we're bullish on silver longer term. I just think that, one of the challenges with the industry is very few companies making money. So we're going to have a better silver price. But because most silver companies have been high grading their reserves to be able to stay alive during a down market, there's not going to be a lot of response in the initial uptick in the silver price. So I think investors are going to be looking for growth and big expansion of operating margins. I don't think they're going to see that below $20. It's going to have to go above 20. So we're pretty bullish about it.
You've spoken a little bit so far about some of the improvements you're going to make at the Galena complex. Can you give an idea of the next immediate steps for the company, and could even involve other operations? I know you have a lot going on other than that.
Yeah. So I think the most significant thing going on at the company is that the Relief Canyon mine, which is a gold mine in Nevada, will pour gold before the end of this year. So that's a very big catalyst for the company. It's over its 6-year reserve mine life. There's resources beyond that. It'll produce 90,000 ounces a year. So on a silver basis, that's 7.2 million ounces. So it's a very big increase to our revenue line, and it will drive significant free cash flow. So that will, pour gold before the end of the year, and it will get in commercial production by the end of the first quarter. So that one's very important. In Mexico, where we have where we've converted most of our higher grade silver into base metals and lower grade silver, in 2020 we're going to bring on an area in our San Rafael mine that is 5 times the current silver grade of what we're mining. So that will increase silver production for the company by about 1.2 million ounces next year. So before you get to Galena, we got a new mine that's pouring gold. It's going to, obviously very big for us. It produces gold at $800 an ounce. So you got a $700 margin on, 90,000 ounces. So that's really great. We've got the mine in Mexico that's making, it's going to make about $15 million of free cash flow this year. And we're going to increase its silver production by almost 3 times next year. And then you got the fix of Galena. And I think the Galena challenge for us has been we haven't had operational flexibility in the mines. So if you have 5 areas you're working on, if one area goes down for a sand cycle or one area is not available, there's no other place to make up the production. So with Eric's money and the new equipment, we'll be in 8 or 9 or 10 areas. So that'll give us a lot of flexibility. So that'll be the focus for, we call it the next 6 quarters at Galena, is to get it from about 900,000 ounces and losing money to about 2 million ounces and being very profitable. So that's the kind of what our catalysts are.
All right, let's wrap it up there. Once again, I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and this is Darren Blasutti with America's Gold and Silver.